Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are seeing me for the first time, my name is Grace. In today's video you want to learn how to draft a basic bodice pattern. So without wasting time, let's get into the video. The first thing you need to consider when drafting a pattern either on paper or on your main fabric is to consider the width of your fold. Okay. To achieve that, I'm going to divide the largest part of my body, which is the hip, by 4. And when any measurement I have, I'm going to add 2 inch for stitching allowance. Guys, this piece I'm using right now is for the front piece. So quarter of my hip circumference plus 2 inch. So when I get exactly what I need, I don't need to fold more than what I need. I add only 2 inch for the stitching allowance. So moving on to the back piece now, I'm also going to fold the back piece, but this time around I will consider the zip allowance for the back. So quarter of my hip circumference plus 2 inch for stitching allowance and also 2 inch for the zip. So in total I'm going to add 4 inch for my hip circumference. Quarter of my hip circumference plus 4 inch, 2 inch for zip and 2 inch for stitching allowance. It therefore means that the back is going to be wider than the front piece only by 2 inch. So when I achieve that, I'm going to move on to my back piece. At this fold where I'm marking is totally fold, and I'm marking to 2 inch on this fold. This 2 inch I'm marking will serve as my space for my zip. So go on and mark your zip allowance. After then, I'm connecting it on a straight line. You need to mark your zip allowance. You need to mark your zip allowance. Except you are not putting zip, you make the front and the back to be the same on the width. So after doing that, I'm placing my front on top of my back piece on this zip line. I'm going to draft the front and the back together. Guys, drafting a basic pattern this way is very simple and very easy. So I'm coming down by 1 inch and I connect this line on a straight line. Just watch carefully what I'm going to do. I come down by 1 inch and I connect it on a straight line. I'm marking my bust point 10 inch, my under bust 18, my waist 16, and the length of this is 23 plus 1 inch for stitching allowance. So in total I mark 24 inch. I also repeat that same measurement at this opening side so that I will connect it on a straight line. And after doing that, you can see me connecting all my points together. It's very simple. So while I'm doing this, guys, you should know that I'm drafting my front and my back together. We don't need to draft the back separate or the front separate. I don't really see the need to do that. So I'm leveling my work for the sake of this tutorial so that you guys can see what I'm doing. I level B, my bust point, my under bust, my waist, my half length or the allowance, and this is the half length. I also have the allowance line, which is 1 inch. I added, I go up by 2 inch. At the bust point I went up by 2 inch, and this is my chest line, guys. This is chest line. So from your bust point, go up by 2 inch. This 1 inch I step down, I take it as my shoulder line. The starting line, I take it as my shoulder line. So I'm dividing my bust circumference, then I will place it at this chest line. Remember, guys, don't get confused. I'm dividing my bust circumference by 4. Whatever I have, I will place it at this chest line and mark. Then I will add 2 inch for stitching allowance. I move on to the under bust measurement. I divide my under bust by 4, place it and add 2 inch for stitching allowance. I also divide my waist into 4 plus 2 inch for stitching allowance. My hip circumference divided by 4 plus 2 inch for stitching allowance. Guys, can you see what we have? This, there is no, the paper, the leftover paper is not big. You see, that's why you need to divide the lashes part of your body before you even start drafting. From what you have seen, you can see that the leftover, or we don't waste any paper. Guys, how many of you have forgot that we forgot to put at 1 inch at the waist for that? There is going to be that. I'm going to attach that to this pattern paper. I'm going to add that, so that's why at this waist I mark extra 1 inch and I blend it back to the under bust and back to the hip line. I'm dividing my shoulder measurement by 2. A shoulder you divide by 2. My shoulder is 15, so half of 15 is 7.5. I add half inch for stitching allowance. So I'm connecting it. I also mark that same measurement at the chest line. I repeat that same measurement at the chest line and I connect it on a straight line. I'm marking the width of my neck. I'm marking the width of my neck, which is 3.5, and the depth of my neck 3 inch. And from that starting line I come down by 1 inch and I'm connecting it like this, and this is my shoulder slope. I also add half inch for at this shoulder slope. This half inch I'm adding is my stitching allowance. So for the depth of my back neck I make use of 2 inch and I blend it back to the width of the neck. The width of our front and our back is going to be the same. It's only the depth will be different, so I label it for the sake of this tutorial. Moving on to the armhole side, I'm placing my tape from this 1 inch. I step in, I find the midpoint, and after I get the midpoint I'm connecting that midpoint to the chest line. Guys, this is for the back armhole. For the front, at this midpoint I'm going in by half an inch and I will blend it back to the shoulder and I will curve it back to the chest line. This is for the front armhole. This is for the front. The front of the armhole and the back is not always the same, so this is what we have. And for the at the waistline, I'm extending that waistline down to my back side and I mark 1 inch. You want to remove zipper bunch. At the waistline I come in by 1 inch and I blend it back to the hip line and back to the neckline like this. So this is to remove zipper bunch. This part I'm shaded is no longer useful, so we are going to cut it out. And after I'm done with that, I'm going to cut it out. Guys, can you see how simple it is? We are cutting the back piece first. So I cut on the back armhole. I've not touched the front yet. I cut the back armhole. I'm also going to cut on the back neckline, not the front. So by doing this, you have both the front and the back piece together. I'm cutting on this. Can see what we have. Can see the excess that's supposed to be at the back is out. So after cutting it, let me just show you what it looked like before we add that. So I'm done with the back piece. I've removed the back piece aside. I'm now trimming the front armhole and the front neckline. I'm trimming the front neckline and the front armhole. I'm taking it, placing it back. I'm marking my dart, the width of my dart. The width of my dart is, I'm using my bust pan measurement. The width of my dart is 4 inch. Normally my bust pan is 7 inch. So I'm going to add 1 inch for stitching allowance. That is 8. When you divide 8 into 2 is 4. That's why I mark 4. And at the hip point, I'm going up by 2 inch. My dart should not get to the hip. And at the bust point, I'm coming down by 1 inch. Then at this side, at this waistline, I'm taking in half inch on both sides and I'm connecting it like this. It's very simple, guys. Come down at the bust line by 1 inch, and at the hip go up by 2 inch. Can see what I'm doing? Because I don't want to measure the dart again. If you watch many of my video, you see that I like using this pattern. If you have been watching my video, you know that I like using this pattern and simply pinning the edge of my dart where it starts, where it ends, and the half inch I take on both sides. I'm pinning it out. What I'm doing with the help of the pins, I'm following the direction of the pins, then I'm marking it, I'm chalking it out on this area. By so doing, I don't need to measure the dart again. I will simply mark it and connect all those points together. Just watch what I'm doing, you'll get it right. So I'm going to connect those points that I mark. Another way to make this is to use a stressing wheel. If you have this stressing wheel, you use it and draw your dart and it will replicate on all piece. But that stressing wheel will not work if you are using it on the main. If you are using this pattern on the main fabric, it only works on the paper. But using pin work either way. Using pin is a perfect for me. For me, using pin is a perfect way to get my dart in all piece. So you can see me connecting it with the help of those points. So guys, we are done. There is nothing much here. And another thing I want to show you, in case you want to stitch, in case you are drafting it on your main fabric and you want to stitch this zipper allowance, I'm going to show you what to do. You are going to maintain the normal 2 inch we added. Okay, you are going to maintain the normal 2 inch. That's why at this zip line I come in by 1 inch. That 1 inch we remove, we add it back. And if I'm sewing, I will sew like this, sew it straight. It's very simple. So when you sew it like that, there will be no excess at the zipper region. And this is all we have. Thank you so much for watching, and do not fail to subscribe to my channel. Bye till I see you in my next video. Bye.